Gun.Smoke shot its way into the arcades in November 1985. In this game, you take control of a bounty hunter named Billy Bob, who is armed with 2 pistols. It's your task to track down 10 of the most dangerous outlaws in the Old West. Along the way, you'll have to fight off the common enemies such as gunslingers, snipers, and, in the 6th round, Indians. Gun.Smoke's most peculiar feature are the hero's flexible shooting capabilities. The arcade cabinet used 3 buttons, one of which in the middle shoots straight ahead, while the next 2 buttons shoot at an angle in each direction. From here on it gets pretty interesting. Pressing the middle button in correspondence with any of the other buttons makes an angle more flat, while both outer buttons allow for stylish moves with each gun pointing in the opposite direction. No combination allows you to shoot backwards though, guaranteeing much grief for the player in the later stages. Some US versions of Gun.Smoke omit the boss rundown, as seen at the start of every other variation of the arcade game, and swap rounds 3 and 6. This is the only official Gun.Smoke port for the home computer market that was licensed by Capcom from the start. However, that doesn't mean it's a good game. While it does follow the structure of the arcade game, it doesn't do it very well. The biggest problem are the awkward controls, as walking left or right shoots automatically, but when shooting straight, the fire button has to be pressed. Of course, the various special moves are not in this version, which set the trend for all the other contemporary home ports. While the ZX Spectrum and the following Amstrad CPC and MSX versions say Gun.Smoke on the title screen, they are actually clones of Gun.Smoke, originally called Desperado, developed by the Spanish developer Toposoft. It wasn't until the game saw a UK release did the distributor, Go, obtain the official Gun.Smoke license from Capcom. They didn't bother changing the game from Desperado, mind you, only the title screen. Desperado shared the same general theme and gameplay with Gun.Smoke, but rather than a direct port, it's more like a sequel or inspired game to the original. The controls of course had to be simplified to contend itself with one fire button. That's only the beginning of the downsizing though, as many of the extras are missing too. Now the only pickups gotten from the Sheriff Stars, which replace the barrels, are the extra lives and points. There's no horse, no gun upgrades, and no speedy boots. Oh, and there's only 5 stages that drag on forever. The MSX port, also by Toposoft, is pretty much the same as the ZX Spectrum as you'd expect, except with jerky scrolling, slightly better colors, and more narrow playing field. Actually, there was a Korean exclusive version of Gun.Smoke made for the MSX by ProSoft. Not much is known about this ultra rare version, apart from it was based upon the Famicom version of the game. This is one of the very rare cases the Amstrad version is not a poor port of the Spectrum game. It features completely redone graphics and faster gameplay, which make it yet more difficult than the Spectrum and MSX versions. It also switches around some of the bosses, but considering how easy they all are, that doesn't make much of a difference. In 1988, Capcom, in an unusual move, decided to bring Gun.Smoke to the US and Europe, and the Famicom disk system in Japan. This version isn't just a direct port of the arcade though. For one thing, there is now a story built around the game, set in 1849, during the height of the Gold Rush era. The amount of levels has also changed from 10 to 6. In each level, not only will you need to fight off the common enemies, but you'll also need to obtain the wanted poster. If you don't have it, the level will go on forever. Like before, you can also pick up money bags to raise your score and collect boots and rifles to improve your shooting and speed. The POW symbol will kill enemies on screen. The Famicom disc version is slightly different, with loading times between levels, no player demonstration, different text font, and more anime-like wanted character posters. PlayStation port is very close to the arcade game, but it's not perfect. Some minor details are missing, as well as features that don't belong to the arcade game, such as the instruction card up alongside the gameplay window, which is featured in the Saturn game. Loading times in this PlayStation version are also too long, compared with the following Saturn version. I've actually edited loading times for this video. Both this and the Saturn version have 3 screen modes: vertical arcade style, which requires you to turn your TV on its side, and also the version you are seeing here. The other 2 screen modes are both standard 4:3 modes, one with a score overlaid onto the game screen and one with the score to the left. Both these modes squash the gameplay screen down, resulting in a ripple effect as it scrolls. Just like the PlayStation version, the Saturn port can be found on Capcom Generations Collection 4. It features the same screen modes as the PlayStation version and the original and remixed soundtracks, which you're listening to now. Just like the PlayStation game. You could say that both versions are identical, but they're not. The Saturn game loads faster, seems a little smoother to play, and does feature the correct arcade details such as the high score name. Yeah, this is a very minor detail, but for the perfectionist it's a positive point. Both the Saturn and the PlayStation ports feature bonus content such as an art and sound gallery.